Good morning, everyone. Hope you can all hear me. So let me see. Okay, good. Victory. Perfect. So welcome to session 7 of the Cairo Bootcamp. So today we are going to be talking about front-end integration with Starknet. So it's going to be a very interesting session. It's a session where we have it's going to be like the whole summary of everything that has happened before, because the whole idea of the boot camp is for us to be able to build a app on Starknet. And then today we are going to be doing that. We are going to be building a simple to-do DApp. But before then, let me just share my screen, and then I think I have a very short slide that I would like you all to have a look at. Leaving the call. Can I proceed with this number? All right. Slideshow. All right, so today we are going to be walking through front-end integration with Starknet. My name is Manu.dev, as you all know. And then this is, I think, the last session, right? Just a little about me, and then this is going to be today's agenda. So first off, we are going to be looking at just a few bullet points, which is the overview of Starknet.js and Starknetkit. So these two tools are very important for integration in the Starknet ecosystem. We are going to be having a walkthrough and then see how to be able to use them before the end of the class. We're also going to be looking at some few APIs that has been provided for us by these tools, like the providers, the signers, and the accounts. We'll know what they are and then how we can be able to use them. And then finally, a short explanation about ABIs and then contract interaction. And then lastly, we will be introducing a very useful tool that helps new developers in the ecosystem, which is Starknet Scaffold. So Starknet Scaffold can help you spin up Starknet's projects. It has already done all the heavy lifting for you. All you just have to do is edit the template and you can easily get started. So, and then finally, we are going to be building a simple to-do app by the end of the class. So, let's have an overview of what Starknet.js and what Starknetkit is. So Starknet.js is a library that helps to connect your website or your decentralized application DApp to the blockchain-based Starknet network using JavaScript or TypeScript language. Yeah, so that's what Starknet.js is. And then it's just a tool that provides an interface for us to be able to connect with our decentralized application, right? And then this is not the only tool that you can use for this. There are others like Starknet PY for those working with Python, Starknet RS for those working with Rust. But then for the course of this class, we are going to be working with a regular JavaScript, right? Using React or Next. So that's why we are making use of Starknet.js. So that's just what it does. And then Starknetkit is a software development kit designed to facilitate the connection with decentralized application on Starknet. So two of them are doing the same thing, right? Starknetkit, Starknet.js, they are doing the same thing, but Starknet.js is the broad version of Starknetkit. I think, yeah. So Starknetkit only helps you with connection. Starknet.js does like a lot of stuff. It's like the JS of the Starknet ecosystem. So you know that in as much as there are other smaller tools that can help you in connection, like Rainbow Kit, WagMe, in the end, JS still stands as the ultimate, right? So that's like the same thing with this. So Starknet.js is like the where the whole APIs and the whole things are. But then these smaller ones, like the Starknet kits, just abstract Starknet.js to make it a little bit more simpler and more easy to integrate. But at the end of the day, both of them are actually doing the same thing. So if you're a dev and then you want to do your connection as fast as possible, or to be able to spin up your project for interactions as fast as possible, you can make use of Starknet Kit. I use Starknet Kit most of the times, but then if you want to have access to like all or more bigger things that you can be able to use within the tools, I will always advise you go for Starknet.js because it contains everything. And then, yeah, so few APIs, providers, signers, and accounts. So this is just like a run through. We'll just do a run through of what these things are before we'll just start building. So I think while building is going to be much better for us to understand what these things are, but let's just do a run through. And then if you are familiar with JS, all these things they are the same thing at the end of the day, right? But this is just like the Starknet version. If you're as familiar with JS, you should already know what providers are, what a signer is, and then an account, and then what those APIs are used for. So these are Starknet.js APIs. So what's a provider? So the provider allows you to interact with the Starknet network without signing transactions or messages. That's what the provider is. Yeah, so there are different type of providers, you know, public providers that you can make use of, like those of Alchemy, the open ones you can use, and then you have your own personal ones that you can generate within Alchemy also. And it helps you for only read functions, right? Those are what providers does. Then the signer. So the signer API allows you to sign transaction and messages, and also allows you to get the public key. So that's what the signer does at the end of the day. So what's a blockchain application without signing transaction? What's a blockchain transaction without write functions? So the signer helps us to do that. So finally, the account. So the account is just an extension of the provider. For those of you that are working with JS, you know that it's basically the same thing. So the provider inherits, the account inherits all the methods of the provider, meaning that it can also help you interact with the Starknet network, right? But then it extends it. So there are more bigger features it has, right? So the account can create and verify signatures with a custom signer. The accounts can declare and deploy contracts. The accounts can deploy new accounts. So that's what the account is used for. So mostly for write transactions, that's where we make use of accounts. You can also use them for read transactions also, but mostly for write, simply because it extends what the provider does. So these are like the three most important ones. We also get to look at others, but then these are the most important that we need to know for integration. So next up, what's an ABI? You already know what an ABI is. ABI stands for Application Binary Interface. So an ABI is just like a schema of how you can be able to interact with your smart contracts. So an ABI defines all the functions, all the events, and all, right? Just to provide an interface for us from the front end to be able to interact with our smart contracts. So that's what an ABI is. So it's a blueprint that defines how to interact with smart contract. It specifies the contract functions, the parameters it take, and how to format data for calls. That's why we need the ABI. For those that don't have or haven't seen an ABI, we're going to be showing a sample of an ABI in this class. Yeah, So lastly, introduction to Starknet Scaffold. Now, what is Starknet Scaffold? So Starknet Scaffold is an open source toolkit designed for developing decentralized applications on Starknet. So I've explained that earlier on. It's completely open source. You can contribute to it. But what is it used for? It's simply for developing decentralized applications. So it can easily help you spin up your projects. Either you want a full stack application or you want just a simple front-end application. With the Starknet Scaffold, it can be able to do that for you. Without Scaffold, you have to do like a lot of things from scratch, having to do all your connect button to be able to run all these interactions, right? But with Starknet Scaffold, the team have already abstract all of these stuffs for you. And then it's very amazing that that this tool is built by Africans like us, right? So I will encourage you guys, when you want to build your project, use Scaffold because it's going to be as fast as possible to help you spin your project up. Yeah. So lastly, we are going to be building. So that will be like the end of the slide. So the time for the class is really short, so we'll be using like most of the time for teaching, for building, right? That's why I didn't waste any much time with the slides, so that we can just go straight at it and know what we are doing immediately, right? So if we are good to go, let me just see your emojis and then I can proceed. Perfect. So you understand everything better when we get at building. So enough of the slides. Let me just head over to the Scaffold website, which is going to be our starting point. Oh. So I think there are like two different of it. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. So there are like two different versions of it. One built by the Holos Lab team, which is the Starknet Africa one, and then that's what we are going to be working with. So let me just head over to their website. Then we can all have a look. So everything you need to build DApps on Starknet, that's what Scaffold is. So it's an open source, up-to-date toolkit for building decentralized apps on Starknet, move for prototyping to production, blah, blah, blah. This is how you can go over the installations. You can head over the documentation here to see how to get started. All right. So we might just go in depth on this to see what it does. So Scaffold was built using a robust technology stack. Okay, no. So let's just head over to the installation. For those of you who haven't installed it, these are the requirements you need. Node.js, Rust, Git, Docker. I think there are two methods, yeah. Two methods for installing the Starknet Scaffold. Either you use the Create Starknet app or you clone the GitHub repository. But this is the recommended version, which is the Create Starknet app, right? So first, you just have to use npx create Starknet app in your terminal, and then you'll be prompted for the package name or what type of stack you want to work with. Are you going to build a contract only application, meaning it's going to spin up a project for you, but the template is going to give you is only for a Starknet contract, right? Or are you going to spin up a full stack application? So for a full stack DApp, it's going to give you both the front end repo already spinned up and also the Dojo, the smart contracts repository. So both are going to be spin up on this full stack. And then if it's Dojo, completely for gaming. So for those of you that will be building games on Starknet, you can also spin up a Dojo project using Starknet Scaffold. Or is it a debugger for projects which needs to utilize full debugging suite, right? It can do that for you. So you CD into the repo and then you are good to go. While this is the second method, which involves you cloning the official repository, and then you navigate into the repository and then you do all those stuffs and you're good to go. But I haven't tried this second method before, but I am completely familiar with this first one. And then we are going to be spinning up a project to see how it works. So let me just copy this and then head over to my terminal. I have a lot of tabs open. Yeah, so I'll just paste this. No. Yeah, I can do it here because I'm in the right folder that I wanted to be spinned up. So what is my package name? I'm going to be calling it block views Starknet Frontend. So it's asking me which of the package I want, contract only or a full stack. So since the front-end project, I want like a full stack DApp. So I'll just select 2 and then it's downloading all the necessary files that it needs to download for me to get started. So let's just hang a little bit while this process. So it's removing useless files. And then currently it's installing the necessary dependencies that I need with just a single command, right? But if you are building this product from scratch, you have to do like all the installations yourself, all the setting up. So for those of you who like to do that, which is also like a recommended way for me, for you to get started with integration. So I think you should use the normal one, first. Just spin up your normal React project and then you do the normal installation yourself so that you see the heavy lifting that Starknet Scaffold is doing for you, right? But then if you enjoy ease, I will advise you just use Scaffold directly. So let's just open the file and then we are good to go. Perfect. So this is it. Yeah, those I can see my screen. So it has spin up the repositories we need. This is a contract repo where you can find all this here, the scap.toml file. You see, it has even installed OpenZeppelin for us, right? Already in the repo, the scap.toml. But initially, if you were spinning up your Cairo project yourself, maybe you will have to do this yourself. But then it has already done it for us. So, but for this class, we don't have anything to do with the contract folder, right? So all we are going to be working with today is the front end. So let me just open the terminal. And then as you can see, this is just your regular app that you know, right? Nothing different, same familiar stuff, layouts, page.tsx. But then they have already built a component for you. They have already helped you set up the Starknet provider, which is like a thorn in the flesh. For those of you who have tried doing this yourself, you know how long this is going to take you for you to spin up as a beginner, right? But then gradually, when you are used to this, you just do it within few seconds. But the team at Horus Labs have already abstract all these out for you, and then they have built it completely. Set up the provider, you don't have any stress. So I'll be coming back to explain this page, which is very, very important. But then for now, let's just look at the anatomy of the whole project. Let's check internal. Is someone raising up their hand or something?
Yes, sir. I can see your screen.
Yeah, mute your mic. But you guys can see my screen, right? If you can see my screen, just signify. Perfect. So it means it's from him. So Jethro, you have a question.
Sorry, I can't see your screen, sir. Okay.
You too, but others can see.
Yeah. Yes. Oh boy, I can't see your screen. All right. So
Yeah, so there's crazy problem with networks these days. So let's just get back to what we're doing. Yeah, I think I've already spinned it up. So yeah. So we can see the different stuffs, the internal, what they've written, basic helpers that they've helped us with. They've written like a lot of things to ease it for us. They've helped us format dates, format currency in case you might need any of those hooks. You can change the theme, either light or dark mode. So we are going to run this so that you see a lot of work that they have put in for this to be possible, right? They gave us utilities, the copy button, generate loading state, etc. So as a front-end dev, you know that it's a lot of stress for you to spin it off from scratch, right? But they have done all this for you so that building products on Starknet is going to be as easy as ABC for everyone. But then the most important thing is for you to understand like the anatomy of this whole web page. This whole folders and understand how they work so that when you want to tweak or change anything, you know where they exist, right? So let's continue looking at this. Can check the lib, can help us with these are the basic stuff, the address bar, add token, in case there will be need for all those. So it's not all these stuff that you'll be making use of. Network switchers, you have to like build these things yourself, right? But they have done it for you. So, and then you can check the common stuffs. Like ABIs. So they've even brought a simple ABI for like, I think this for an ERC20 contract. Yeah, so this is just for them to help us have the view of our web page, right? So this is for them to help with their integration. Yeah. And what again? Yeah, so everything should be here. You have the layout, what it looks like. So all we just have to do is just head over and just start building. So without any waste of time, let's see what the next command that we have to type in is. So the next command says we should cd into projects and then do what? Okay. Yeah. So if I just do npm run starts or npm starts, it's going to start up the front end for me automatically. So it's a Next.js project, and then it's currently launched on localhost 3000. So let me just head over to Brave, and then we can visualize what the Horus Lab team has done. Yeah, perfect. So they've done all these stuffs for us. So let me just disconnect this because I think I was connected before. So easy stuff. And then all you just have to do here is to edit these templates and then you are good to go. So once you edit these templates, we are completely good to go. Maybe you can just leave the nav bar, or if it doesn't suit your taste, you can style it properly how you want it. Change the style. I think with their styling, they are making use of Tailwind CSS. So it's easy for anyone who is familiar with Tailwind to easily tweak this design to their desired tastes, right? They have already done the connect button. For those of you who have not built on Stack, who have built on Starknet before, you understand that you have to do all these things yourself. You have to build and style the connect button yourself, and then do the disconnect, do the pop-up modal. Unlike Rainbow Kit that have already done all these things when you are working with what's it called? With Ethereum network. So they've already set up all the different wallets we can be able to make use of in the Starknet ecosystem. You can see Starknet Agent X and the rest of them. They gave us a theme here for light and dark mode. So you can just tweak this how you want, right? And then you can join the community here so that you, because it's an open source project, you can easily contribute to this. So should in case you are making use of this tool and then you find any problem or you find anything you feel is going to be better to make this tool much more better for devs that are coming into the Starknet ecosystem, you can just go head over to the Horus Lab repository and then just raise a PR so that this can be fixed, and then it's going to be better for the next generation of devs coming into the ecosystem. But then kudos to the team at Horus Lab for working on Starknet Scaffold. For those of us who are in the ecosystem earlier on, we already know that there's no tool for this. We had to go through all the stress ourselves. But then it's great to see that building is actually made easy now on Starknet. So let's just head over to editing this, and then we are good to go. So I just have to minimize this a little. I'm done with the package.json, and then let's check the entry point of the application. So we all have to be doing all this checking, debugging, and everything together so that while we are teaching, everyone will understand the anatomy of the project, right? All right. So page.css, I think this is like the main page. This is the main entry points of the application in layouts.tsx. You can see the Starknet provider is being wrapped up here. And then we have this page.tsx. So let's head over to the Starknet provider, which is like the important guy. So if not for the team at Horus Lab, you have to do the provider yourself, though it has already been written down, right? So let's head over, let's see where it's coming from. Yeah, so Starknet provider. So this is it. I don't know if you guys can see my screen. Or if it's not zoomed in enough, so I can zoom in well.
Yeah, can you zoom in small, like zoom it small?
How about now? Should I add one more?
Yeah, better.
All right, cool. So these are the necessary things you have to import. So for this, for Starknet kit, sorry, for Starknet Scaffold, I think these are they made use of Starknet React for their integrations, right? So let's just head over to the package.json and see the packages they use, so that if you want to spin it up yourself, you can be able to install these packages yourself. Okay, it should be here. Yeah. So these are the basic things they installed. They made use of installed Starknet React, but I think they installed all this individually so that it's not going to be heavy. And then they also installed the Starknet kit. So you can find Starknet kit here. They also installed the normal Starknet, which is the Starknet.js, right? And then, yeah. So that's just the necessary things that we need to know here. The other ones are just normal JavaScript libraries, maybe aside this Agent X. Yeah, but the other ones are normal libraries. So you can also find Tailwind CSS here, React icons, the same thing that you know. But the thing is just that they have installed all these things for you already, so you don't have to stress. So back to the Starknet provider. So first and foremost, they are trying to get like the different chains within the network. So either Sepolia or mainnet. Sepolia is for tests, while mainnet is for mainnet or prod applications, right? Yeah. Then they also imported this from Starknet React Core. The Alchemy provider, Agent, Bravos. This is just to help with connections and the rest, right? Then they also brought this from Agent Mobile, which is the Agent Mobile connector, so that you can connect to your Agent Mobile app. For those of you who like to connect your DApp to your mobile app directly, so it's your mobile app that will, maybe you have an Agent Mobile, and it's from there you want to be signing your transactions, you can use the Agent Mobile connector. The web wallet connector also, which is like my best of tools in the Starknet ecosystem. This is a wallet that is built completely on the web. Unlike any other wallet, it's just like your regular pop-up. All you just need is your email and your password to be able to access or to be able to sign transactions and read or write to the blockchain. Yeah. So this is the provider. So in this case, they are making use of Agent and Bravos for connection as our injected connectors. Those of you that are familiar with Ethers.js, this will just be like a repetition for you guys. So these are the different connectors, either the web wallet or the other ones. Yeah. And then finally, the configuration. So they are also making use of StackScan as their official explorer, and also inserted the provider here. So where did they get the provider from? So these are the different providers, either the radio provider, Nethermind provider, Lava provider, Alchemy provider, Infura, etc. It depends on what you want to make use of, right? That you can just easily use any of the providers at all. All right. So this is a configuration file that help us with the connections and help us with the interactions also. Then every other thing within your app is wrapped here, which is called like the children, right? So we can see a complete overview of this here in the layout, where as you can see, they built the regular HTML page. And then in the Starknet provider, they wrapped in the children, which is this, right? And then everything we build within our app is going to. So back here, which is like the main page that we are going to be doing all the editing in it. So this is the page, but then let's try to clear things off in it so that we'll see what it looks like again. So what do I take off? Let me just take this gradually. So I will leave the header session. I'll take off this, the hero, take it off. I don't need all these guys. Take them off too. Everything here, aside the header. That's the only thing I'll be leaving. Yeah. So let's have a look at what this looks like now. So as you can see, everything has been cleared up, and then we can be able to edit whatsoever it is we want to here. But then all these still remain stagnant, right? So let's head over component. So header is gotten from components, internal, then header. So internal header, perfect. So this is it. So all these are set up there, the connect button, the address bar, the menu button, etc. If you are a React developer, you will understand exactly what's happening in here, right? Or a Next developer, all of them, the same thing. You completely understand what's happening here. They've done this link, which is the link to their logo. So if we don't want to use the Starknet Scaffold logo, we can just take it out and put like the regular link that we want. But for now, I'll leave it because there'll be no need for taking it out. Yeah, this is just to view the address, and then if a user is connected, that is the network can find an address, is going to display the address bar and the menu button. But then if it's not connected, it's going to show the connect button for the user to be able to connect. So that's the same thing we have here, right? So because I'm not connected, it's showing the connect button. So, but if I connect now, it's going to see transaction history, add a token, blah, blah, blah. That's what it does. And then finally, the network switcher or the team switcher, sorry, where you can be able to change the color to maybe dark mode or light mode, which is this guy here, right? So I can do this. Yeah. So that's just the setup in the header. For those of us that do not know what's happening here, you can, after learning a little bit of React, you can do well to come back to the project, right? So other stuffs, where are they getting the address from that they are displaying for us? Very important. We need to know. So they are getting this address from user account, which is a hook gotten from React Starknet core. So from user account, you can be able to get address, you can be able to get the person's account to help you sign transactions, etc. All is gotten from this Starknet React core, right? I think that's what's more important currently. So to be able to view the address, and then we got it here. So nothing more here for us to see. And then this is the footer where they did like the whole Horus Lab stuff. Yeah. So back to layouts with the analytics too. But in case I'll be needing them, I'll bring them back. So let's see what our page looks like. Yeah, so perfect. So everything is just bare minimum, simple as it can be. So just show you guys, you can edit this. I can head over back to the header. Yeah, and then easily I can just take off this link that leads to Horus Lab. So instead of that, I will just put in Blockfuse Labs. Yeah, but that's small. So oh no. Yeah, great. So let's just manage this. You can easily take this out, suit it properly, change the colors, do your tweaking to how you want it, right? But they have already done the complex abstraction for you. So everything made easy. Yeah, so let's just head over now to building our simple DApp, which is going to be a to-do app, a to-do DApp. So what this to-do app is going to do is it's going to help us create a new to-do, and then we are also going to read from this to-do and then do a lot of interaction with it. So I built a simple to-do contract with this so that we can be able to integrate it into the DApp that we are going to be working with. So let's head over and look at this contract. I think I opened it somewhere. Yeah, this is it. So let me send the link to this contract on the chat, so you guys can also have a look at it. So that's the link to the contract. It's just a simple contract that has one read function and one write function. So the write function is to add a to-do, while the read function is to read from all the to-dos. So because of time, and then it's not part of the scope of this project. That's why I didn't build the to-do contract from scratch with you guys. But still the same, we can be able to have a look at it and what it looks like. But then before then, let's just head over to Voyager and continue having a look at it. So these are contracts. It has a write function, and then the write function just accepts a title, which is the title of the to-do. And then the title of the to-do is say field 252, which means it's just a simple short string that contains 31 characters. So simply put, we cannot impute more than 31 characters as the title of a to-do, right? So that's one. And then next up, so this is the write function, add to do. Then we can head over to the read function, which is to get all to-dos. So the read function just iterates through the list of to-dos and then gives us all the to-dos so that we can be able to display it on the front end, right? Yeah, so that is it. I think I deployed this contract some weeks ago. Yeah, so let me just have a look at the transactions and see. Oh, sorry, account calls. Yeah, okay, yeah, so I did this about like 18 days ago. Just to add to-dos and the rest. So in Starknet, if you want to see your ABI, you can head over here. So for those of you that haven't had any encounter with an ABI before, this is what an ABI looks like. It is a JavaScript, or looks like a JavaScript JSON object, obviously. JavaScript JSON file, sorry. Which contains, like I explained, all the necessary things you need for. It explained everything about the functions, the events in the particular contract, just to give us an interface. Like take, for example, this is the add to do function. So the add to do function, as you can see, is an external function. It accepts inputs. The name of the input is title. The type is field 252. It doesn't give us any output after we do this. That's just it. And then next, this is another function, which is get all to-dos. As you can see, this is a view function, meaning we can't write with this, we can only view. And then it doesn't accept any inputs. It only accepts it only gives an output, and the output is of type of array. So it gives us an array of to-dos, right? At the end of the day. So that's just how it works. Yeah. So since I've created a few to-dos here, I think I can just try to query and see what my to-do looks like. So these are the different to-dos I created. Take my bath, say a little prayer, attend class, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So let's proceed. So first off, let's try to design the UI of our application so that we have like the necessary things that we need before we head over to integrating this with Starknet, right? So first off, I'll be writing all this code in page.tsx. Yeah. So I'm just trying to style a container that's going to have like all the necessary things we need to create a to-do. So for the user on the front end, to create a to-do, all the user needs is an input box that the user can be able to write the title of the to-do. Since the function accepts just a single parameter, which is the title, right? So let me just do this. I'll make it a background of slates. Nothing serious, just yeah. So we have it and then an input box. Oh, let me create another div. I'm going to make this flex column. Okay. And then inside my input box, input of type text, then I will give it a placeholder that says enter to do title. So let's see what we have. Yeah, so it's overlaying here. Let me just try to bring it down. Yeah, better. Okay, down more a little bit so it doesn't overlay. Yeah, so we are good to go. So let me just style this to make it a little bit better. And then I'll create a button that says add to do. And then I'll style this button. I'm going to give it a background of orange. I don't know if it tallies with that of. Yeah, so here we go. This is what we have. Just where you can just input the title of your to-do and then you can click on add to do and we are good to go. Yeah, let me style this properly. Let's see flex and then let's see flex column. Div. So I don't want this to be flex column. I'll just make this grid. And then I'll give you columns of 2. Yeah, better. And then specify a particular height for this guy here. Sorry, a width. And then say width, let's say 9 or 12. Better. Then lastly, let's give it a gap. For a gap on the y-axis so we can separate the button and then the input box. And then finally add something here that says add to do. Yep. So let's say it's an H4 and it says add to do. Better. So I'm not the best of front-end devs, but then you can just manage what we have, right? The most important thing is let's make the functionality to be able to work out within the course of the class. Yeah. So back to the most important thing. Same thing we do in React. Let's just try to see how we can enter this file, and then when we click on this button, it's going to, even though it means to console or log it for us so that we can be able to see or alert it. Yeah, so the most important thing to do is to track the state, right? So let's try to track the state and say to do and say set to do. Say use states. Yep, and then this time around is going to be an empty guy. And then let's work on this. Let's what's happening? Yeah, so let me just format this so it's more like easier. Yeah, so let's try to set it up. Let's give this input box the value of to do. And then let's add the onChange function, which what does the onChange function does is sets the to do for us to what? To whatsoever is within the value. So let's call the value of this, or let's call this particular element E, and then let's head over to the target and then get the particular value in the target. So simply whatsoever is within that input box is what is the target dot value of the particular element, right? Yeah, so that's what the onChange function does. So anything that we type in there is going to be what is set as our value. And then finally, I'm going to give this guy, or I'm going to set up an onClick function that says make it constant, handle, add, to do. So this is a function that will help us do the right thing. And then, yeah, let's just do that for now. So let's set it up as an async function. Perfect. And then all we just have to do now is just alert, just to be sure that this is working. And then our alert to do. So anytime somebody calls the handle to do function, is going to alert what is the current value in the input box. And then I will say on click, yeah, on click and then handle add to do. Perfect. So back to this. So if I click on this guy, we don't have anything here. So it just alerts empty, right? But if I click a new to do, which is to create a to do app, that's our current to do that we are doing, right? Create a to do app, and then I click on add. It's going to give us the alert here that says create to do app. Yeah. So this is better right now, right? So by setting this up, I know that easily I can be able to interact with my application and then create the handle to do function. So how do we do that? How do we do that? And then which of the tools are we going to be making use of? So as you guys have seen in the course of this class, there was no need for us to make use of Starknet, what's it called? There was no need for us to make use of Starknet.js or Starknetkit, sorry. Yeah, Starknetkit. Simply because Starknetkit is just for connection. And then the Horus Lab team have done it for us. So there's no need of going for Starknetkit again. But then in the Starknet provider, how everything works. But then to be able to do this interaction, we are going to be making use of Starknet.js, or we can stick to Starknet React core. So Starknet React is a nice tool that abstract things and make them better. But I think in the course of this class, I'll just make use of Starknet.js. So we use the normal stuff, the harder one. Let's not make use of what has been abstracted. Since the team have installed everything necessary for us. Yeah. So where do we head over to now? Starknet. So this is Starknet.js. Then I can get started here. You can see what Starknet.js is. They've explained it for you, how it works, etc. So you guys can carefully just go through this and then understand how everything works. But then because of this, I don't have time. I'll just head over to the different API. Create an account. So we're trying to write. These are the different RPCs providers, like I told you guys. Yeah. We don't need to set this up. Yeah, so to the most important stuff, which is this guy, how we can connect to a deployed contract. So I've already deployed my smart contract. So how do we connect to it? Right? So once your provider is initialized, you can connect a contract already deployed on the network. You need two pieces of data to be able to connect to a contract, right? One, the address of the smart contract. Two, the ABI file of the smart contract. Now, why do we need this? For you to interact with a smart contract, you need this contract because it's the contract address that gives us the interface, or that has access to all the functions that we need to interact with, right? So the contract address is very important. And then the ABI file gives us a blueprint of what these functions look like, what parameters they accept, and then what we can also send in for that to be possible. So these are the basic guys we can just integrate. RPC provider, we can bring this contract guy from Starknet. So that's like the most important thing now. So let's just try to set up the contract itself. Yeah, so I'll just go back here and then bring it from Starknet. So I will import contract. Yeah, from Starknet, and then I have it. So what do I need for contracts? Let me just try to set it up here. I can just say const to do contract is equals to new, just how we do it in this thing. What's it called? How do it in the normal way in JS? Those of you that are using it as, you do new contracts, then you specify the parameters you need, which it has already given us here. So the first parameter is the ABI, then the address of that particular contract, then the provider or the account. So the provider is for read functions, and I explained that earlier on. If you want to read, use the provider. If you want to write and read, make use of your account. Why? The provider doesn't contains the signer key, but the account contains the signer key, which can be able to help you sign your on-chain transactions, right? So they say expected 2 to 3 argument, but got 0. So let's insert all the necessary argument we need, which in this case, our first argument will be to get the ABI. Yeah, so where do I install the ABI now? I think within app, I will just create a new folder that says ABIs and then add the to-do ABI in it. So let's just call it to-do ABI.json since it's a JSON file. And then head back to my smart contract, which is here. Where is this guy? Here, right? Go to code, and then I can be able to see my ABI. So this is my contract ABI. This guy here, this short guy. So let me copy it. Head back here and then paste it. Then I'm good to go. So successfully now we have our ABI within the contract. And then all I just have to do now is import it. So I can just import to do ABI from ABIs / to do ABI.json, and I'm good to go. So I will insert the first variable, the first parameter needed here, which is the to do ABI, right? So one argument settled. So the next argument is to get my contract address. So let me just try to define my contract address here. So let's say to do contract equals to, I write it as a string and then head back to the Voyager and then copy my contract address. So this is my contract address. I copied it. And then I can paste it here. So next up, put the next guy, which is the to-do contract, right? And I'm good to go. Okay.
Two variables name.
I was defining the name twice. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's great that we have what now the name? Frontend devs here. Then finally, the most important guy. Let me just try to yeah. So let me import it from. Let me bring user accounts. Since we are doing all our connection with Starknet React Core, so let me just bring from Starknet React Core, and then I can just set it up and say const destructure the account from it. Say is equals to use accounts. Yeah, so I'm good to go, and then can continue building. So that will be the last guy I'm going to insert here, which is going to be this guy that says accounts. And then my contract is ready and I can continue integrating now. So instead of alerting this, let me just try to set this up and then do a try catch block, because this is going to be hitting the smart contract. And if there's any error, we can be able to get it, right? So let me just try to alert error dot message, or just alert the whole error in case of anything, or also console.log it before alerting. Yeah, and then within this try block is where we are going to be doing all necessary stuffs for us to be able to integrate this DApp. So it's nothing serious. We already have our contract set up here, and then all we just have to do is to to integrate this guy. All right. I think there should be a toast container within this, but I wouldn't toast anything. So what will just happen is within this, I will just try to await this call. This is very minimalistic. I won't be doing much of error handling or anything at all. I just want you guys to see how this works, just to have like a successful interaction. So to do contract dots, same way we do it in JS, and then yeah, you can either connect, but me already I'm connected, so there will be no need for me to do any connect stuff again. And then next thing is to write the particular contract, or sorry, the particular function I want to call. So my function exists within the to do ABI. This is why I need it. And then this is my function, which is to add to do, and then it expects a failed 252. So add to do, and then I do this, add the current. Now, so what is going to be my to do now? So my to do is going to be anything that the user inserts inside of the particular input box I explained, right? So I will just write this down here and say to do. And then after this is successful, I want it to clear whatsoever is in to do. So I will set to do to an empty string. Yeah, so let's try to do this, and then fingers crossed this should work out. And then if this works out, we have our first successful interaction on the Starknet ecosystem. So let me connect wallets. No, not agents. Connect my Bravos wallet. There's a reason why I'm not connecting my agent. And then I insert my first to do. So what will be my first to do? My first to do is to create a to do. Oh no. Remember, I'm using a fail 252 here simply because it's only 31 characters. So my title should not be longer than 31 characters. So if I want to make my title longer than 31 characters, what will I make use of? Somebody should help me. I want to work with a string, and then perfect. So I make use of byte array, right? Nice,
Yes,
nice.
byte array.
Awesome. So this to show that there are already Cairo devs in the room. I like that. So, but then I will try as much as possible not to exceed 31 characters. So I will just say learn at block fuse. So that will be my first to do today. Yeah, and then head over to click the add to do button and see what happens next. So add to do, as you can see, automatically Bravos pops up, and then I have this guy to explain whatsoever that is happening. I'm going to do this one. Yeah, so you can see the transaction explainer from Bravos that explain whatsoever happens within this transaction. You can see the different stuff. This is the method I'm trying to call. This is the contract that I'm calling. You can also show the call data. This is so the call data is formatted, right? So you don't know from failed, it's formatted back to this, so that the contract can be able to accept it, right? Since this has, well, I can successfully sign this transaction. And then on the Starknet ecosystem, most of you are coming from where now? Ethereum point of view. So you see how much it costs to make this single transaction, less than 0.0, less than $0, right? $0.02. So this is a significant figure. Just to show you that Starknet is a very, very nice L2 that gives you premium cheap gas fees, not less than or not more than 0.05 for complex transactions, even as performing swaps, right? But for a single transaction like this, you see it costs less than $0.02, which is a very good figure for those of us who are coming from Ethereum or any other L2. But then let's just sign this transaction and see whether it goes through or not. Yeah, so perfect. my transaction is completed, and then I have successfully added a new to-do. How do I know I've added a new to-do? It has not been integrated in the front end, which is going to be the next stuff we'll be doing. But then let's just head over to Voyager and then try to read from check the account calls, see the last interactions we made. Let me refresh this. Yeah, so the contract call was just made a few seconds ago, and it's still in pending state. This is simply because what's it called? It's Sepolia. So Sepolia is a bit slower than the main net itself. Everyone knows that. Let's have a look at what the transaction looks like. So let me just click this. So this is the current state of the transaction. It has been received and accepted on L2, currently being processed to be accepted on L1 within a few hours. This is the gas consumed. This is the person who made the transaction, my address, manual.bravos or stack, etc. And then this is the title that I sent at the end of the day, learn at Blockfuse, right? You can be able to see it here. It has been decoded. I can also head back to the read contracts and then try to read all the to-dos, query, and then I can have the new to-do I built here. I created here, which is learn at Blockfuse. Yeah, perfect. So we are good to go. And then we have successfully done the most important stuff in the blockchain ecosystem, which is to write to the blockchain and to change the blockchain state, right? I've successfully done that using the Starknet.js and other tools that we use to be able to achieve this. So first check done. The next stuff is going to get our list of to-dos. And then I think after we get our list of to-dos, we are successfully done. And then, yeah, because I built this contract to be very, very minimalistic, which is just read and write. So you can choose to improve this contract yourself. Maybe you want to update the state of the to-do to change it to either done or not done. You can be able to do that, etc., right? But for now, this is just what we have. Just to accept the title and then to be able to view all the title at the end of the day. Perfect. So let's head over to the next stuff, which is to read. So reading involves us reading all the to-dos and then displaying it on the front end. I'm so sorry, a call is ringing in the background. It's confusing me. Yeah. So next step. So I think this class is a 2-hour class, right? Please help confirm. Perfect. So that will be done early. Because I'll be taking a short trip today, immediately after the class.
Are you coming home today?
I'm not saying that. I'm only saying I'm taking a short trip.
We're expecting you, boss.
All right, so back to the right stuff. Maybe this person. Sorry, guys. So let's try to read now. So for reading, let me just design or arrange the view, how it's going to look like. So let's say this is, let's make it a white background. I'm not much of a color guy and not much of a front-end dev. I only do front-end when there's no front-end dev. So that's why I learned it. How do we do this? I think we need to create like a very short component for the, what's it called? Oh, no need, I'll do the component in here. So let's say this is a H4 and then all to-dos. Let me make it a flex container, flex column, gap y. And create a new div here that is going to hold like all the to-dos for me. And then I'll make this one just flex. I'll make p, no. So make this guy p5. Yeah, let's see what it looks like. What the tabs will you open here? Okay, but I don't want this guy down. I want it to be side with this other guy. So what have I done wrong? Yeah, that's simply because I need to take this guy out here and then insert it in here. Right. All right, so this should work. Yeah, so I have this here. I have all to-dos on the side to display like all my to-do so that as soon as I add the new to-do, we can be able to see it, right? So let's try to style this guy now. And then I'm going to be creating a short component that we handle all our different to-dos and display them for us. So let's make this p of 2 and then let's make this orange. I don't know how it will look like, but just manage it. Yep. And then let's make it a flex container. Let's put all the items in the center. Yeah. And then the first thing I need is I'm going to insert, this is the index, let's say 1. Let's just do it dummy so that we can be able to see this. Let's do another paragraph and let's say this is what the to-do title is going to look like, which is learn at block views. But we are going to be editing this to make it dynamic. And then probably we might add the update button today, but that will not be necessary. But let's just say, yeah. Caleb, should Caleb look for you? Let's make it full. Let's change the color to white. So all the text in it should be white. Would that make sense? Oh, manager. Or let's make it black. Let's put a full stop here. I'll take out this update button. And then let's give a space between the two of them, which is using gap X, and then of 4. Just to make it better. Yeah. So this is how all our to-dos are going to be looking like. So all the to-dos we are going to be creating, this is how they look like. But then first and foremost, since we have like bunch of to-dos within our smart contract, let's try to read them and then view it, create a new to-do and watch how they update. Does someone have a question?
We are not seeing your screen, sir.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I can see my screen.
That's frozen or something.
We are not seeing your screens. I guess. Yes.
Are you guys using Glow?
But I can see your screen.
You see? People are using Starlink like me.
Your screen is frozen, sir.
I'm still where?
Your screen is frozen.
Okay. So let me just stop sharing and then share again. But I know this problem is not on me.
Okay, then.
How about now?
Yes, boss.
Now they see I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's proceed since you guys can see now. So we have successfully written to the smart contract. Now let's try to read all our data, right? And then get it. All right. Right. Read. Okay, so if you are using tools like Starknet React, reading is completely made easy, right? Reading is very easy because they have created those hooks that will help you read already. But then using Starknet.js, we have to write that hook ourselves that will help us read. But then in Starknet React, you just pass in the specific stuff you need to, and then it will do it for you. So let me even head over to the Starknet React website and then show you guys. Because that's what we advise us to be using most of the times. But then Starknet.js is just to understand how this works. If it was in Starknet React and then we want to write, there are different ways we can be able to do that. We use the use send transaction. We bring the ABI. So once we just insert the ABI, same thing we are doing there. For the use send transaction, we can just give it an array of calls. So when there's an address, you can populate the contract with the function you want to run and then the arguments within the function. So in this case, they are trying to make a transfer and then they're inserting the address and then a big number of 1. And then they send the transaction. So this use send transaction gives them access to two stuffs, which is send and error. So send is the function that will help you to send that transaction. So they've already built the hook for you here and it's completely made easy. But I want us to do like the more harder one, but then it's not even hard. Starknet.js is easy, right? To tell you integration on Starknet is easy. The only thing you will find problem in integration in Starknet is working with the different data types. Simply because, in Starknet, it doesn't use the same data type as JavaScript or any other programming language. The data types are completely different. In JavaScript, you have data types like number, strings, Boolean, but in Starknet, I think there's no data type that even correlate to one another, only Boolean. And simply because bool is bool in every programming language, right? So But here, the problem you have now, you need to be, where you'll be having problems is serialization and deserialization. So you serialize your data before you send it to the contract, you deserialize it before bringing it back. It sounds like big English, but it's simple. It's just for you to know that, hey, I'm working with this data type. How do I convert it to this in JavaScript? How do I do it this way? So mostly the deserialization has been done for you already. So you don't have to stress. And then to do all this deserialization, you can use this simple library called, this simple library, I think it's gotten from Cairo. It's gotten from Starknet.js or so. Let me check it. This guy, let me check. It should be Cairo. Yeah, so this is it. So from this Cairo guy, you can be able to serialize everything how it's supposed to be, right? Like take for example, in this case, I'm trying to send a file 252 to the contract, right? All I can just do here is tweak myself. So should in case this to do was giving me a problem, I can just say Cairo.felt. So once I say Cairo.felt, it's going to convert this guy to felt 252 for me and send it to the smart contract, right? So that's just the serialization. There are other tools, there are other things you can use like Cairo. You can have access to all of them here. See them, either tuple, either you in 25Cs and the rest, so that you format your data, serialize your data properly and send it to the contract. Because that's where a lot of people are facing problems, right? So you can work with this way, and then if we try to do this again, you'll see that it will work. So let me just try to maybe add another different one and then try to add to do or connect wallet. Within the app. Let me just try to add to do. So can you see? Same thing. It will also go through, right? But then I will decline this transaction. Yeah. So let's try to read now. So when you are reading, you have to deserialize because your data is like field 252. But then when the smart contract is sending it back to your React application might not know what field 252 is. In short, JavaScript don't even know it's in the fields. The reason that JavaScript knows is string, right? So you have to convert it back from field to string. Then JavaScript can be able to display it for you. If it's byte, you convert it back like that. Like if it's struct, you do it that way. So I think that's just like the hard part in Starknet integration. But so long as you understand how to use all the helper functions that will help you do all this serialization and deserialization, everything is going to be completely easy for you to be able to use. Yeah, so let's just get at it and let's try to do this stuff. So first off, I am going to create a new state that says to-dos. So I can get all the to-dos and set to-dos. I say use states. And this guy here. Yeah. So, but then I think we can just, we can have a use effect that does it for us, right? So we can just say use effect so that anytime there's any change, wait, is this how to create a use effect? Yes. Yeah, and then the dependency array. And then let me just try to fetch the data. So you can easily create this hook, abstract it for yourself. But me, I don't get time to create hook. I'll just do it inside the use effect directly, right? And then we are good to go. Yeah. So fetch data is going to be a function. Why I'm creating a function inside the use effect is simply because as React devs, you know that you cannot make an asynchronous call inside of a use effect. But the easy part is you can create an asynchronous function inside of it and call it. but I can't call async direct inside of it. If not, I will have done this in this anonymous function, right? But then that can't work. So that's me teaching React now, and I need to get paid extra for that. Okay, so let's just call this function, and then after that, we are going to call the fetch data function. So what does the fetch data function does? So the first fetch data we try to read from our particular contract, get the particular data it gets back, and then return it, add it, insert it, or set it in these to-dos, and then we can be able to display the to-dos for the user in the front end for the user to see. But before then, let's head over to Starknet.js and see how they did it. Wait till I do you. So the use effects are already making it screen. All right. Yeah. So Starknet.js, interacting with the contract, connect. Did they show us any way to read anything here? Interact with your contract. Yeah. So I think we can read from this here, and there's going to give us data. So to read, we just call the function, await it, and then call the particular method we want to read from, and then get all the data that we need for that particular stuff. Yeah. So let's just do it ASAP, and then we are good to go. So reading is also easy. Okay, I get why that thing was failing. I have not brought use effect into school. I just brought it now. So in the use effect, all we just have to do is say let let's say response. So response is going to be the response we get from the contract. Let's say response is equal to await. So we await our smart contract to read this call. So the same smart contract to work with, which is what's the name of this contract? To do contracts, right? Now, what's the next method? Let's head over to ABI. And then next method is to get all to-dos. So I just copy it. It doesn't accept any input, but it returns an array of to-dos. I just paste it here. Simple. And then after this, I will say, first and foremost, it should console.log the response. So anytime it gets it, and then after it console.log, it should set to-dos as the response, right? So if this works, as soon as we head over to our app, we should be able to just see it in the console. So let's debug. Inspect. Then head over to console. Yeah, so it has already brought it out for us. So you can see it's an array of 11 files. You can see all of them here, right? Which contains the title, whether the to-do is done or not. So I already built the to-do as a struct, and then we get the title of the to-do. But as you can see, it's bringing the to-do as a big number, right? So if you try to display it now, JavaScript can't do this for you. But then let's try to do it and then get the error, and then we are good to go. So automatically we have this inside of to-dos, and then we can be able to access it from our JavaScript file. So here now, which is where we are going to be doing the work. This is, so we just do our normal stuffs here and say to-dos. . So I want this to view only if the to-do.length is greater than 0. So if it's greater than 0, it should display this guy, which is this whole component here. Oh, no. It should map. If it's greater than this guy, it should do to-dos. Oh, it's to-dos or not to-do. To-dos dot map. And then I will, oh my God. It's in the output. That's okay. Sorry. On type net. Okay. So since I already said, let's just put an empty array in there. This should work. Yep. Then I think expecting to do. Then we insert the to do in here, and then this. So what if it is there's no to do in it? We are going to display a simple paragraph that says no to do's yet. But in case there's to do, it's going to display, it's going to map through and then display this guy for us. Right? Perfect. So no errors. Let's see. So let's style this properly. This is a flex container, but I want it to be flex column. And then I give it a gap y of 2. Let's see. Yeah, so this is what our to-dos will look like. So for now, you can see it's just dummy data. So it's showing us learn at block view, learn at block views, learn at block views, blah, blah, blah. But then let's do the main stuff now. That's bringing the main data into scope. So also I will get the index. So it is the index I will insert here as well. And then let's see. So it's starting from 0. So do the manipulation. Let's just say index plus 1. Will this work? Perfect. So we have them here. So next thing is to now insert the particular data that we want to have here. So instead of this learn at block views, we are going to say it should give us to do dot title, right? What didn't happen? Oh, so let me just inspect and then see what is the name in it. Refresh now. Yeah. Yeah, so it's to-dos.title, right? So let's be able to see. Okay. So now we've done to-dos.title, but then watch out. Nothing is being displayed here. Now, back to the problem I was telling you guys about. JavaScript doesn't understand this guy because look, it's returning it as a big number. What do we have to do to turn this back to a string so that JavaScript can be able to display this guy right now? So let's take your suggestions while I just ease myself for a minute. So you guys can talk, I will hear you. So any suggestions? You guys cannot tell me you have not tried this out. It's not possible. Because I know the people in this class. Someone must have integrated a full staking DApp already. When the person just wants me to be talking. All right. So what do I do here? Already is screaming. Title does not exist on type never. Who gave you never? Did I give you never here? So what we are going to be doing now is to use a particular utility function called we are going to create a utility function called felt to string, so that it's easily going to convert it for us from felt to string. And then the truth is, this particular function, I don't have it in my head. I've written this function just once, and then anytime I need, I copy it from wheresoever it is. So that's why I told you, once you have like the utility functions that you need, all you just have to do is to keep them one place, so that easily you want to serialize or deserialize, you already know the function to take and make use of. So let me just head over to one of my repos and then take that particular function out. Is it this one? No. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the utility function. Where's helper now? Yeah, this helper.js file, and then this is the function. Simple, minimalistic, what it does. So let's copy it. But first off, let's create a helper.js here. So me, I not be TypeScript person, no. Do I write TypeScript? Well, only when is the one and last option. But I still stick to my JavaScript all day, right? And then let's try to bring this function into scope. So let's import belts to string, belts to if you find that meaning. Oh. Is it exported here? Yes. So you see, this is what the function does, right? Accept this felt, turn it to a string of 16. So this is just a hex. You turn it to a hex, try to match all of these, convert it to a string based on the char code, and then join it back and return it back for the user to have a string. So you see the software head that has to go through for you to see a single string on a Starknet contract. So I appreciate Starknet front-end devs from today. Oh, for my helper.js, no one come. So from this file, make a copy them. And then paste it here. Okay, and then that other guy was screaming. It's showing type never, but then these to-dos, there's a way they look like. It's supposed to be like a regular JavaScript object. So I can just define the specific title here. Then say this guy is a string. You know how TypeScript devs do this thing now. And then say got now is done. Let's say this is a boolean, and then I just take this guy off. It highlights all the errors back. Okay, so it's an array like this. Yep, this should work. Okay, she said the thing don't calm down. That's because I divide all the necessary types, right? Okay. So let's use our helper function now to be able to get all our strings. So all I just have to do here is say felt to string and then call it in here. And then successfully, we can be able to see our to-do title. So back to the screen now. It all lost. Which error do we have? Perfect. So you can see. Wait, some people they help me create to do. For saying that because I didn't create as much to do as this. My to do as simple. Take my bath, say a little prayer. Somebody wants to added my to do as scout for issues on only dust. Somebody wants to take a short trip. Okay. Now don't go kill me for this class. All right. Makes sense. So anybody can just create a to do now. We can be able to see it here. But then the most important thing is do this guy. We have 6 minutes to end this class. So let's end it exactly at the time that it's supposed to end. So our last to do now is say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Hello, sir.
Yes, boss.
Yeah, please, can you help us with that helpers function, that utility paragraph?
Go and write it yourself. Which one be Not be front end dev, they talk that one. Oh my, I don't go like for even mean that ChatGPT generate the function. No. But make I check out. Okay, this is the function. So where do I pay? I keep paste down for this chart, right? It will go through.
Yes, sir.
So that's the function there. If you want to convert failed to string, if you want to do byte array, blah blah blah, like that, you keep going. So let's create the last to do and make sure that this thing works. So the last to do is to say what? Goodbye. And pack my bags. So add to do now. It's the worry you connect now. So let's say goodbye. Add to do. This pops up. I sign the transaction. Perfect. That's worked. So to show you I'm not a very good front-end dev, I was supposed to add something in the dependency array so that it will automatically refresh this, right? But I don't do it. So let me refresh manually. And you see, our 12 to do is here, which says say goodbye. So you guys can choose to do this properly. So from the contract I sent you guys, what I just want you guys to do is extend this so that you can be able to update, just so that it's going to have like the real functionalities of a to-do DApp. If you are able to do this, then we can be able to start building complex stuffs. So before you can build a very big aeroplane for it to fly, you have to do like a small template, right? So that it goes. If the small one that you built works, don't worry, the big one will work. It's the same thing here. So you guys should just try to modify this, make this better, and then we are good to go. So in 3 minutes, we'll take questions. So questions, guys. Marcus, you are good.
GM boss.
Yes,
Yes, boss.
Alpha.
GM boss.
GM boss.
Yeah. Sorry, I wanted asking. Let's say, for instance, we want to do something like like MSG.value, like sending from one user to the other.
You know, here in Starknet, we don't have externally owned accounts, right?
Yes.
Good. You have to insert the normal amounts like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, I told you guys this in the I think in the first session I took. When you want to create a contract and you need to pass the MSG dot sender in the contract address as the contract owner, don't specify get caller address. Use that get caller address to use the universal deployer for you. You have to insert the address manually. So virtually everything here is done manually, simply because we work strictly with contract accounts. And then contract accounts are not a bad thing, simply because it has been realized. I think Vitalik wrote about this a few weeks ago. Quantum computer subsequently is going to be able to crack the ECDSA model. Hope you know that.
Yes, boss.
So pending when ECDSA we have an issue, EOA will not be using EOA again. No. It's just contract account we're going to be making use of. So if you even have money in your EOA now, better go and start shifting it before one guy will bring quantum computer and wipe our money.
Yes.
So any more questions?
Yes,
Jetro.
boss.
Is it Magnum?
Yeah, GM boss.
GM.
Yeah, so I want to just ask this question. You know, like Ethers.js with Ethereum, there's where you can be able to listen to an event, like query an event and filter it and display on the UI. So
Yeah.
with Starknet now, how can we do that?
Yeah. It's also there. If you just go to Starknet.js, the documentation, you can see how you get your events and then display them. And then it's also very nice to announce that Starknet has an integration with the graph also. So if you want to do your front-end integration, you can index your smart contract directly from using the graph with Starknet. But for events, there's a way you do it. Same way. This is just like a replica of Ethers, but in the distinct part, you can be able to see it here. You see events here, right? You see how you can be able to get them. So let's check it out.
Indexers than graph.
Boss.
Yeah.
Okay. What you just said, I think this question was actually battling me a bit, but you just gave a bit of answer to it. But I want you to expatiate more because I actually deployed a smart contract on Starknet, and what I did was I make use of the get caller address. Then it will map it to the balance that the user will enter. I think the first assignment you gave us. So when I did that, it wasn't actually working. When I put my address, I'll just see 0. But when I did it manually, I pass in the address and map it to the balance. That's when it shows me okay. Yeah. So the get caller address, like you said, it makes use of the universal address, not the one that is calling the contract.
Get that clear. Now, get caller address is the same thing as MSG.sender.
Yes, boss.
So why I don't want you to use it in a constructor is simply because when you are deploying a Starknet contract, it is not your EOA it's not your account that is deploying it. Because in Ethereum, we will bring the private key, set it up in hard hat, right? So it's your account that is deploying it. So it will take your account as the MSG.sender, right? But then in Starknet, if you call it in the constructor, what is deploying the account for you is the universal deployer address, not your address.
Okay.
But after the deployment, any other interaction you want to do, let's say you want to call functions that you have implemented within your contract. If you call the get caller address, it will give you the address of the caller and you are good to go.
Okay, probably I did something wrong, but I actually did that. It wasn't giving me, probably I'll chat you up with the code personally later.
Wait, so the get caller address is a read function, right?
Yes, no, it's actually a write function. You pass in the amount, then it will get your own address, then map it to the amount that you want to store.
Oh,
But yeah, when I do that and I query the particular address, it gives back 0. The only way it works is I have to pass the address manually.
Manually. So like, see, a lot of stuffs here are the concept are the same, but to achieve it in Cairo is crazy, my guy. I can't lie to you. The past 3 weeks of my life has been hell. It has been hell for me, and it's Cairo. Can't lie.
It was.
So, very big advice to you guys currently building. You people should be writing articles. I want to see articles. I bet you will go far if you start writing articles. The ecosystem currently doesn't have like a lot of stuff. In short, I pity the generation of Cairo devs that are coming in. Simply because we, the current Cairo devs, don't want to write a lot of documentation to help these people. But to make this easy for Cairo to have more adoption, we need to be writing docs so that the guys that are coming will have it easy. I've been writing Cairo the last 3 weeks, and I bet you I'm writing stuff that are not in the docs. I'm writing stuff directly for I'm just doing try and error, because if I go to ChatGPT can't give me an answer. In short, I related this to some of the top guys in the space, and everyone is running away and say, yeah, I don't even know Cairo that well. Oh, just everybody's trying to run away from my problem. And I understand, right? So I try to want to do it myself and do a lot of stuff. So please, let's be writing articles so that the next set of devs that are coming is going to be very easy for them. And then when they go through and just want to do anything, they will see it will reference your name there automatically. It has you automatically in the list. And then people will appreciate you. You don't know, people will be coming to your DM and say, thank you. Now your documentation helped me, Dimka, God bless you, like that. So for now, let's just keep doing the try and error.
Okay, boss.
Perfect.
Well, thank you.
So anything you see that it works, if you try this one, it works, try this one, it does not work, write an article and warn the people, say, hey, don't try this one, it will not work. Simply this way, you explain. Then you will now do the right way that you're supposed to work. So that if the next person comes and is expressing that kind of issue, if you just search on Google, Google will pop up your own this thing for the person. And the person can be able to see, oh, Dimka was trying to work on this, like me. Dimka went into these issues, and then this is how Dimka was able to resolve it. And then before you know, now your article there everywhere. So let's leverage this space like very well, right?
Yes, boss. Thank you.
So can I go and pack my bags now?
Yeah. Thanks, boss. Thanks for your
All right,
time.
guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's keep building. Let's have a great time. And then you guys know our plan, right? So it's going to be building. I hope you are ready and you are pumped. So after this session, now I build. Hope we are pumped.
Absolutely.
Kingsley no get question today. What's happen? And then all right, guys. Peace. Cheers. See you guys in.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I can see we can first ask.